video with Kylie's K9 Boot Camp. This is Mazakine, my service dog in training, who has tons of energy today, so this will be a very fun video. Today we'll be going over leash work, so it'll be heel, loose leash heel, and what to do when you have a dog and you're in a wheelchair. You see me pulling her right now. I would usually do that, but there's stuff on the ground that she's trying to eat, and because she has a sensitive stomach, that's very dangerous to her. She could get very sick from that. So that's when you'll see me pull her around. First, we'll work on a regular heel. I'll show you two ways to do this. The first way is going to be if you're not really as concerned about getting it completely straight and you're just more concerned about getting them to stay by your side. So we'll start that. Mazakine, hey. So you'll have them stand in front of you, to the side of you, whatever you want. I always recommend standing in front of you, and then you lure them around. Heel, heel. And you want to walk forward. When you walk forward, that tells them, okay, when I'm in a heel, that means I have to walk with my handler. That way you know that she's going to stay by your side, or he, when you're walking forward, he's not just going to sit there. You don't want to let them just sit there and then give them a command heel, because that just teaches them to sit by your side, not to walk by your side. So we'll go over that one more time. Mazakine, heel. Good girl. So you want to be able to do that. You can do it from different angles. If your dog isn't really getting to come from the front and to the side, you can start with the side and start giving the command from heel, from the side or the front. It just depends on your dog. Whichever way is easier for the dog, that's how you want to start off with. And then make sure you're just walking forward and luring them right here. If you're wanting a more straight heel, I'll show you over here. So here we're going to use a car to give them a straight side to walk against. So we're going to have to come from this side because that's my left side. So you're going to make sure that they're close to here. Heel. And you want to walk them right between this. This is going to give them a much straighter heel if you're along something that's straight, because they have nowhere else to go. They can't weave out. They can't, you know, especially if you're having issues with that with your dog and they're kind of weaving in and out, or they're weaving or they're heeling away from you. You can use a straight object to get them to move this way. Heel. Good girl. And you really want to make sure, especially when you're first getting this, you can treat in two spots. If your dog is having trouble with it, you can treat right here once they get here, and then treat after you stop walking. Once they have that down, that's when you can start getting them and teach them to do, when I stop, you stop, which I'll show you that. I like her to sit when I stop. Unless she's blocking. Other than that, if I stop, she stops and she sits. So I like her to do that. Heel. Good girl. So I didn't have to give her the command because she knows that, but you want to stop. I make noise. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. I make noise with my foot so she knows that I want her to stop right now. Otherwise, I don't make noise. That means I want her to stand. She knows that pretty well. Good girl. I didn't make noise with my foot, so now she's standing in a block position. Other than that, I make noise foot, means sit. No noise means stand. You want to make sure that they're sitting here or they're trying to sit here. It's okay if at first they're kind of sitting to the side or behind you or in front of you. That's okay for their first time. That's perfectly normal. It's perfectly normal if when you're first teaching them heel, they're kind of moving into you or moving away from you. If they're moving into you, make sure you're using your leg to kind of push them back. And if you're really having issues with them coming out and away from you, then you want to use a straight side to really get them to straighten that heel out. A lot of like show dogs, they'll use that technique to get their dog to do a straight heel. Okay, so once you have that heel down, and I mean you have to have it pretty solid to even attempt this, that's when you can start working loose leash heel. She's not in a heel right now, which is why she's kind of off doing her own thing. Don't eat that. Don't eat that. Good girl. So you really do want to make sure that you have that heel down and they're pretty solid about that. They have it down about 90% of the time. That's when you can move on to a loose leash heel. So I'll show you that real quick. I use the same technique. Lure them. And then, yeah, it's basically the same thing. So go back there. If you have issues with it, again, use a car or whatever straight. Mazakine, heel. Heel. Up, up. Good girl. So the leash was loose right there. So I'll even show you that without me really holding the leash. Just so that you know that I'm really not putting any pressure on here. I'm gonna drop that, whatever. Yep.
Nice.
That's okay. Good girl. So I was still luring her there. She doesn't need a treat for that. I was just showing you guys what I would do. Don't attempt off leash if your dog doesn't know loose leash. That's a terrible idea. That's how your dog runs off. So don't attempt that if your dog doesn't know loose leash heeling. So loose leash, I do use pretty much the same technique as heel. Walk forward. The dog should walk with you. She's kind of being tentative right now because she's not sure if I want her to heel or not. So just make sure that you're leaving the leash loose, and then you want to make sure that the dog knows heel very well, knows sit pretty well. They should know all their basics before you start this. That way you have full control verbally in case something were to happen where the leash gets out of your hand and they try to take off. Don't eat that. Stop eating stuff. I'm going to be honest, I pretty much just use the same technique that I use with heel. I just wait till they're really good at it, and when they really know the command, they really know the hand signals I'm asking, and then I use it, and usually it works. If you're having issues with it, again, you can try walking circles with the leash loose. Kind of like our regaining focus video. Come on. Get up there. Get up there. So if you're having a lot of issues with that, you can use different circles and things like that to really get them into place. Other than that, I mean, if they have heel down, usually they'll be okay with loose leash, as long as you practice it at home first and don't try that during public access training, because you don't want your dog to look like a lunatic. If you're in a wheelchair, you're probably gonna need to use loose leash heeling. You're going to need to use verbal cues, and if you want to use hand signals, that's fine too, to tell them which way you're turning. Otherwise they're not going to know, and you're just going to run them over, or the dog's going to get in your way and you're going to have to stop suddenly, which some people, that could cause them to hurt themselves by moving forward, and it hurts their stomach or something like that. If they have a seatbelt. If they don't have a seatbelt, then they could fall out of the chair, and we don't want that. So you really want to teach the dog to move left and right. You want them to understand that. So this is how I do that. That's key. Heel. One. Left. Left. Good girl. Left. Good girl. So that's how I start that. I just teach her left and right. I start with left because that's a lot easier for them to learn, because you can kind of bump into them. Even if you have no use of your legs, you can use your hands to bump into them. Just make sure you're not pushing them too hard. You can just kind of do this if you can reach them. And if you have use of your arms, that's perfectly fine. Just start with the inside, and you're gonna really be able to push them into place. And make sure you're kind of giving them enough room when you make the turn. Musky, come here, heel, left, and give yourself some space. Use your arm to block them out of the way. Left, good girl, good girl, left. So that way you're kind of making them learn to give you enough distance, however much distance you need. If you need someone else to help you train, that's fine. It's not going to be a hard thing to train, so it could literally just be a friend and you just tell them how to do it. Other tips I guess I could give you, there will be a video on long sit or stays if you're wanting that, because I know one person did say she needed to learn how to have her dog lay down when she's in the chair. I would start by telling them a place and having them lay down there. There will be a video though on that, so just wait for that video to come out and I'll show you more of what I would do. Other than that, that should be all you really need to know when it comes to wheelchair usage. Again, if you need a friend to help you, that's not a problem. That's not a big deal. Just let them know what you need them to do, so that way you can prevent injury to your dog or possibly yourself. I hope this video helped everyone. I hope to help as much as possible, at least if you're having issues with these sort of things. This was my second most requested video, which is why it's the second video being posted. There will be future videos. Hopefully I'll be posting Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. That might be a little bit too much, but we'll find out. We'll see you next time on the training series.